Hello, everyone. Welcome on in to the Cyber Monday pitch event. We are so excited to have 10 incredible entrepreneurs here with us today that are going to be presenting their plans for growth and how they are raising capital on Honeycomb. So we're just going to wait for a few more minutes here, and then we're going to get started. So with that said, we are going to get kicked off with a note from our CEO, George Cook, on what Small Business Saturday is, Small Business Saturday weekend, and a little bit of history on what Honeycomb is. We'll then turn it over to our business owners here to then present their pitch decks. So with that said, I'll turn it over to George, who will give a little bit of note on Honeycomb.
Awesome. Thanks, Anna Marie, and thank you all for being here. I'm going to be brief because this webinar is not about me. It's not about Honeycomb. It is about the incredible entrepreneurs you are about to hear from. Now, today is Cyber Monday, but instead of just shopping online and supporting Amazon, you decided to be here. You've opted in to support small businesses in this digital format. And that matters. It matters a lot. Studies have found that for every dollar you spend at a local business, it can generate up to $7 in economic activity in that community, which means that you can make an impact. And that when you shop at a small business, it's more than just shopping, it's actually investing in your community. And that's exactly what Honeycomb is all about, investing in communities. So for those who aren't familiar, Honeycomb is a platform where anybody can earn a competitive return while investing in fair loans for real entrepreneurs. You can make money while business owners are reaching for their dreams. If you haven't already, I encourage you to download the Honeycomb Credit app on Apple or Android. Visit honeycombcredit.com now. And to celebrate Small Business Saturday through the weekend and through to the end of day today on Monday, we are waiving all investor fees across the platform. Now, each of the businesses you're about to hear from has a live offering on Honeycomb. That means for as little as $100, you can participate in their campaign and you have the potential to earn a return while they go out and execute on the projects they're going to talk to you about today. So without further ado, thanks again for coming out. This is why I do what I do. This is why I get out of bed in the morning, is to hear from entrepreneurs like these, to hear their stories, to learn from them and just be inspired by them. So excited for them to share a little bit about their journey with you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, George. And with that said, I'm going to share my screen here. And we are going to get started. And our first person presenting can everybody see this? Perfect. Our first person presenting is Nathan Powell from Deep Market Making. So with that said, I'll turn it over to Nathan to give his pitch.
Sure, thank you. Uh, so I came from technology. I came from the West Coast over, places like Amazon and Microsoft, and I wanted to take what I had learned about deep learning and data science to Wall Street and to because I knew I'd seen the potential. I'd seen the potential with the Bing search engine at Microsoft, and I'd helped them improve their revenue by over $100 million. And I went to JP Morgan Chase in New York, and I helped them build a bond pricing engine that outperformed all of what the quantitative researchers had done previously. And that was applying modern deep learning instead of the classical quantitative techniques that the quant researchers had done. And so that went to production at JP Morgan. They're still using it. And then that led to the formation of this company, Deep Market Making. So deep as in deep learning, market making as in we're helping the bond dealers at the very core of the US financial system in corporate bonds. I mean, a lot of the news that you hear about NVIDIA or Microsoft, et cetera, where they're borrowing billions of dollars. This is how they do it. They issue a bond, they get billions of dollars, and then that bond is then traded on the secondary market. And it's a very opaque market. Most people don't have a very good view on the price. We're trying to democratize that. We're trying to make the market way more transparent. Most people cannot directly access the bond market. You have to go through a broker, and then a broker typically charges a lot of fees. So we're giving you a lot of visibility. You can actually go to bonds.deepmm.com and see a 1 hour delayed price for free for corporate bonds. So like you can go to any financial website and see stocks, there's not really great prices out there for bonds that are in real time, but we have that. We're one of the first that are applying deep learning, modern machine learning, AI technology to this, and that allows us to be over 40% more accurate than our top competitors, who are about, they're big companies like Bloomberg and others, ICE, that spend hundreds of millions of dollars on R&D. And we've managed to beat them by 40% with 2.5 million invested so far in the company. The first 3 years of our company were mostly focused on R&D, but we've been starting to sell the product mostly to get technology validation, which we've gotten from some very top names. Like some top 10 banks have said, we have the most accurate corporate bond pricing engine. And so we're like OpenAI, except for that we're focused on the financial industry. We're focused on helping dealers make more money and also making the market more transparent for everybody. We're also going to be selling the product to asset managers, portfolio managers, and also retail investors as well. So we're looking to become, a new platform that is AI focused for finance. So instead of like OpenAI, where they're predicting the next word, we're predicting the probability of a financial event, and in this case, a bond trade. And so this is a very underinvested field. There's really, there's tons of investment into companies like OpenAI and Anthropic in AI, but not a lot into financial AI. And finance is 7% of the U.S. economy, and it's also essential for us to keep our international competitiveness up, and by adopting AI in New York and other places. And so you're helping to build a better world by investing in us. And in terms of the use of funds, so we are raising a 3 million seed round, and we're also raising a bridge round of 500,000, which has 350,000 already subscribed. And then we're raising this money to also supplement that bridge round as well. And so the bridge round should close by the end of the month as well. So, any questions?
Excellent. Thank you so much for that presentation. We will take some questions if folks want to ask Nathan in the chat right now. Great job, Nathan. I'm curious, like, what would you say, Nathan, for investors on the call here? Like, what's your biggest priority with raising this capital? And yeah, like what would be the first things that you want to do?
Okay, so our biggest operating expenses have to do with the data that go into the AI. We have to pay vendors for that data. It's not like the OpenAI situation where you can just download a crawl of the entire internet. We have to actually pay vendors month to month. And so we have some great customers. And so this money will help keep everything operating as part of the actually part of the bridge round of 500,000 that we're raising. So it's only a small part of it actually. But that's the majority of what it'll go to, as well as payroll. And then once we have our seed round, next year, actually, we're raising our prices quite a bit. So our prices have been typically, when we're selling to big banks, 60,000 per use case per year, but we're increasing that to more like 500,000 to 1 million per year, because we've gotten a lot of demand. And so we've just been so busy servicing those customers and we need to raise our prices so we can fully operate well on the money that we have coming in cash flow wise.
Excellent. We have another question that says, why do you feel like this type of financial AI is important?
Yeah, so we've calculated the potential benefits of the improvement in accuracy that we have to about $50 billion across the industry. And that has to do with better execution costs. So when the dealers are trading, they have to provide a price to the market. They're the ones that set the price. And if they can set a price that's on market that people are going to accept, they become more competitive. So that's a $4 to $5 billion opportunity there. Then when you look at the asset managers, they lose a lot of opportunities because they don't know whether they can trade a particular bond at a particular time, because bonds are not as liquid as stocks. And so it's harder to do price discovery. By having an accurate price, they can more confidently trade and not miss opportunities to enhance their portfolios, and they can get a greater return. So that idea, for example, is worth $10 to $15 billion a year. And then you go on down the line, like risk management, more efficient operations, less turnover in the portfolio. And as you list all those things, they add up to $50 billion in benefits. And that's only for corporate bonds. Now, when you extrapolate to all the other asset classes like stock options and FX and many others, cryptocurrencies, it starts to get upwards of maybe $500 billion in total benefits from this technology. And then when you talk about like
Excellent.
retail investors, giving them transparency so that they can participate will really increase the trading volume. Right now, the trading volume of corporate bonds is about 14 trillion per year. So obviously that's a very huge market, very important. And we want it to be more accessible to retail investors. And I think the volume will vastly expand from doing that.
Excellent. Any other questions for Nathan? Great. Okay, with that said, we will pass it over to Ryan at K9 Cuisine.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Vandegraff, and I own Canine Cuisine along with my wife, Jessica. It started in summer of 2023. I sold my service business and looking for something new to do. And we have two dogs over here. We have Bones and Bandit. And in the summer, we were having lots of issues with them with itchy ears, hot spots, loose stools. Just trying to figure out what to do. Went to the local vet a couple $100 later, recommending, to do some allergy tests and everything like that. I just realized that there was a big open opportunity trying to figure out what we can do to remedy that. Have Bones and Bandit feel a lot better. My cousin owns a dog food business called Canine Kitchen in Canada for over 10 years. He's been extremely successful. Felt like it was just something in a different market, maybe in different markets in the United States, not here and prevalent at all in West Michigan. And I visited him several times and decided to take action, try to do something here locally. So what we do is we make raw dog food by using all natural ingredients, either 7 ingredients or less. They are human grade. I actually lived on it for a couple weeks. We had a little new stint on it where I just grill it, but the exact same ingredients we put in the dog food, I ate myself. So obviously we back and support the quality of it. We are licensed with MDARD, so it is a balanced diet. You don't need any fillers or supplements or anything like that. And we do have a store. So our niche is, we're local. We're a local business, but you can invest naturally with the farms that we use are right down the street. The beef, they're processing farms less than 4 miles away, and they actually provide the same beef to local restaurants. That's what we do. So we go right here in our store and we grind it ourselves, package it ourselves, and then we do a free local delivery anywhere within 30 miles from here. And we want to thank you for this opportunity because this capital will enable us to enter in the markets. We are centrally located in between Chicago and Detroit. So we want to open up those avenues by also having a vehicle with a good wrap on it to promote our business, as well as a good marketing potential where we want to reach out to the local vets. That is a hard niche to get into if you are not in that specific industry, but we want to partner with them instead of working against them. and creating some great ideas in terms with that. But we've been open for just 2 years now, and we managed to double every year. So first year 50, second year was 100. We're on track and on pace to probably double ourselves within the next year. We would like to increase at a lot faster pace. We just want the opportunity to reach out, at least a 5% base within 30 miles of here, where the dogs can eat the same ingredients that their humans are. So it's a great opportunity, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Um, we will now take questions for Canine Cuisine. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Um, I think question for you, how would you say that, um, or if at all, like, have you experienced any rising costs in equipment or materials? What are some of the things that you may be doing to counterbalance that?
Definitely rising costs in the raw materials. What we do is by working with the local businesses, it kind of keeps it down to a low. Number one, I order higher volume. Number two, I'm consistent. So I order every week from these local farms and suppliers. So it makes it a lot easier for us to maintain that. But I did manage to reach out to a local economic development corporation here in West Michigan, the right place. And they would do a matching contribution for the equipment, which would enable us to produce at a lot faster rate, almost 10 times the rate that we do now. So it'll enable us to get a lot more time to go out and reach, and a lot less time bottlenecking by producing the product. So
Very helpful. And we have a question in the Q&A asking, how will you use the funds?
So a breakdown here would be the 13,000 would be equipment. There's something called a VMAG. What it does is it uses all of our ingredients by grinding it together, and it can package it based on the certain weight. So it pre-packages it. Like I said, I would do a match with the economic development to get that. So it's 25 grand. Delivery vehicle, like I said, something like a transit, something high, possibly to have a reefer with a good wrap around it so we can push and market our business. Operating capital for 6 months just to provide us the liquidity in addition to paying for part-time wages for an employee for about 10 hours a week. For every hour that I am not in the store or my wife's in the store, that's an hour that we can spend outreaching. We don't want to compete against, large national companies with billions of dollars of ad spend. We want to go to the local community ourselves, boots on the ground, just to show the community that we are here. So marketing campaign, that's what I discussed with reaching out to the vets, doing a campaign. They have a big annual conference, and it's going to be in Grand Rapids next year. So we're excited to partner with that. So I think I got everything covered.
Yeah, excellent. And then I think one thing to add, as it pertains to the Canine Cuisines investment offering as well, is that they are eligible for a $25,000 angel investor match. If Canine Cuisine reaches $25,000, they'll receive a match from a Michigan Impact Fund. We have another question here that says, what's your cost per acquisition?
Cost per acquisition depends on if I'm looking for a subscriber or a one-time, but it's right around $25. But we use a subscription model where you would get 20% off if you order every week or every month. And that's the trick, is we have a service, we have a reoccurring position where we have the same customer. So we're willing to spend a lot of money to get that customer in the door, because my customer is not the person coming to buy it. It's their canine. They're going to take it home. I want to promote the opportunity to have them go home and say, hey, give that a try. Your dog is having allergy issues. Feel free to look at our reviews. Our reviews, they're all 5-star reviews. It's for dogs that have allergies or any difficulties with the food that they're providing. And we give them the opportunity by starting a little bit to transition over, and everything starts improving, pretty much right away that they have. But the cost per acquisition cost is definitely it's definitely worth it when you have a reoccurring. We retain about 90% month to month of our existing subscriptions.
Thank you so much. Excellent. Well, if there are no other questions for Canine Cuisine, really great job. Next up, we will be presenting Gordon from Waffles and Caffeinated.
Uh, Thank you. Hello to all potential investors, and I do wish to thank Honeycomb for this opportunity to address you all. Waffles and Caffeinated was started with a concept that breakfast should be a little bit more than just oatmeal and pancakes, and we also had grandma's sourdough culture as we make sourdough waffles. But we are a waffle-themed full-service restaurant with a near gourmet dining experience and some great coffee. So we hope that you'll stop by to be a patron as well. So with this start, we actually started in a 20-seat restaurant, and after 15 years, we've grown to be a $4 million company with 6 locations in southwestern Pennsylvania. We serve a wide variety of customers and have become a meeting place for families, friends, couples, business associates. Many of our tables are multi-generational, mixed gender, and multi-ethnicity. So it's a real hubbub of activity. The reason we are partnering with Honeycomb has to do with the fact that we get numerous requests to, will you build one in our town? And with 6 locations, we're finding that just, starting from scratch and building another restaurant in another town is a little difficult. So we feel that our next step in growth is through franchising the brand and not through cell phone stores. With that in mind, when you go to franchise, you have to prepare something called a franchise disclosure document. It's a document that is filed with the Department of State and allows you to then begin to franchise. We also are going to need to take a different approach to marketing. Currently, we retail market, and of course, when you're marketing for potential franchisees, that's a different game and a different approach. So the reason we feel that we're in a great shape right now for franchising and that we can grow rapidly from here is we already operate a central kitchen, which is used to prepare batters, syrups, and basically up to 40-some items that we distribute internally to our current 6 stores. So we do have a delivery system and a kitchen, a fairly large kitchen that, in terms of production, we feel can handle up to approximately 24 stores if we operated, 3 shifts and around the clock. So our approach would be to use sort of a hub and spoke where our current central kitchen located near Beaver, Pennsylvania, would be used to deliver up to approximately a 2-hour radius around Beaver, which takes you into Cleveland, Erie, down as far south as Morgantown, and as far east as Johnstown. So that's our goal immediately, and then the approach from there would be to build central kitchens, for example, in Columbus and or Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and to serve like Eastern Pennsylvania and Western Ohio. Our use of funds, we have a $60,000 minimum goal. $40,000 of that is just for the preparation, filing, and associated attorney fees for the franchise disclosure document. It is a large document. It's relatively a lot of legalese in it, that type of thing. The other $20,000 we would devote to sales and marketing strategy and the associated marketing materials in order to approach potential in franchisees. So overall, we hope you'll help us put a Waffles and Caffeinated into your town, and I'm ready to address any questions.
Thank you so much, Gordon. Great job. I think so folks, as you have questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A. But to get us kicked off, Gordon, I know you mentioned there are tons of folks that will ask, hey, can you put one of these in my town? How do you feel about the pipeline for franchisees? And what will be your go-to-market strategy to try to attract these franchisees? I know you mentioned that you're doing some sales and marketing. You're going to revamp the strategy. Any like tangible things that you can speak to?
Yes, I mean, our partner for the franchising disclosure document does have experience in marketing franchisees. As I said, we have an inquiry. We keep a list of people or companies who are interested in franchising, and of course, they would be approached provided they're in the Western Pennsylvania area, Eastern Ohio area. So so I'm not sure if I'm completely answering your question. We have the pipeline. The marketing, would first be through our current contacts, and then after that, there's trade shows and other sales firms that you would approach, and then you do a contract and have them approach franchisees that they know are companies that wish to franchise.
Thank you. And then last question here. As you think about franchising, what are some ways that you plan to really keep that waffles and caffeinated, local feel as you expand and allow folks to grow their own waffles and
Well,
caffeinated?
that's a great question. We already have a strategy where we repurpose current buildings in the community, so they're familiar to the community. They blend in with the community, and to answer that question, primarily through repurposing, having franchisees repurpose current space in different locations, as opposed to we don't start from the ground up like when you see a Chick-fil-A or or someone else pop up on your corner where they develop the land.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Gordon, for your time and for presenting Waffles and Caffeinated. Next up, we have Kat from Back to the Grind.
Hi, everyone, and thanks to Honeycomb for having me. Um, Thanks for all the investors for being here, and good luck to everyone. Thanks. Um, but I said a lot of thanks already. So Back to the Grind is a coffee catering company that brings a mobile coffee bar to any event in the Chicagoland area. So I come from a background of 13 years in hospitality in Chicago. So I joined many opening teams like Soho House, the Pump Room, and Let Us Entertain You, Sushi San. So I've always loved hospitality. I love making people happy. And I wanted to take my experience from these incredible companies to create something that gives me autonomy. I have 4 kids, and I wanted the flexibility, to be my own boss. And I've had manager experience as a bar manager, so I loved training people, training bartenders, training baristas. Um, so this autonomy like could give me flexibility with my family, financial freedom, things like that. So, um, why coffee? I was a bartender for 10 years and I did private bartending for 2 years. And I just went back to my roots in coffee. I was trained by Intelligentsia, La Colombe, Blue Bottle when I was working with these hotels. So now I partner with amazing Chicago roasters like Metric and another Chicago roaster, Valoria, who's Filipino. I'm Filipino, and I love to support local, support minority-owned businesses. Um, so the business has been uh, gaining so much traction, especially because the first half of this year I was working on it part-time. And then I just suddenly scaled the past 3 months. So we had one cart. My husband and I built it ourselves. And then now we have three carts because in October, I had an event where I had a day where I had three events in one day. So we built up some carts, hired up some baristas, got them all trained, and service these events. So right now, with my three carts, my maximum capacity of guests is about 400. And I've had to turn down last month a couple service requests for larger events like conferences and larger business events. Whatever gatherings they had, they were looking for 500 to 800 guests. Um, so yeah, basically, sorry, if you could skip to the next slide. Thank you. We are actually, our next steps is uh, a commercial space and cart upgrades. So that's two main things. Quick shout out to Dominique, who is with Zemi Coffee Cart. We are partnering. She's in Oak Park and I'm in Forest Park. So we're hoping to go into this commercial space together. So the coffee cart catering operations can expand, have a designated home, plenty of storage, prep space, things like that. And then let me see my notes here. Oh, the carts. So I'm also planning for another espresso machine, cart efficiency upgrades like rinsers. They're all direct plumbed. So um, they're a rinsing system would just be huge. Right now, we just use a little sink in the back. Um, Yep, yep. Kitchen equipment in our commercial space. Right now we are at the hatchery, so that's a shared kitchen, a commissary. So it's a little chaotic with all the moving parts. The carts are stored somewhere else. Our inventory, our cold storage is all over the place, and it'll just make things a lot easier for our baristas. Um, with that, I can answer some questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kat. Really appreciate this. And it's always great to see Honeycomb alumni, collaborating together. That's so exciting that you and Dominique will be attempting to go together into this space. Folks can put questions in the Q&A while they're exploring or looking over the this deck. But before we get into that, would love to hear a little bit more about maybe any lessons that you learned. You mentioned some really big names that you've worked with and in Chicago. What are some of the lessons that you've learned from these really big notable brands, and how do you see yourself bringing that into back to the grind?
That's a good question. And with someone with a ton of service experience and not that much business experience, I've learned so much. But the thing with the hatchery is that they're a food and beverage business incubator. So I have mentors, I have, resources from that group. And they really helped me understand how to provide the best service for these bigger corporations. I've like basically really fast communication. They just want fast communication, clear communication. Um, they don't want to be nervous, so I like to give them plenty of updates. As you can see on this deck, I do a lot of branding for some companies who want to display their logos, and I keep them updated on production of, signage, cups, things like that. Um, I think they just want one less thing off their plate. And I really want to make sure I provide that as quickly and efficiently and professionally as possible.
Awesome. And then, I mean, you've grown a ton in just being open for a year, a little over a year. What do you think are the key things that have made you grow so much and so fast?
Good question. So basically, I've been in food and beverage for 13 years. So I have a bunch of connections. I reached out to everyone. Was always networking and always exchanging information as quickly as possible and following up. With my clients, I like to uh, communi communicate with them consistently for referrals and like I like to go to these like business expos and lots of networking events. So I really put myself out there and connect with the corporate community, who is my target audience.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Kat, for presenting today. Um, we have one last question. Who are your direct and indirect competitors?
Good question. So, off the top of my head, Third Coffee Cart is an established um, company. I forget. I think his name might be Raul. Then VA Tour. Um, Dominique has a coffee cart, but it's more like a bike coffee cart. I guess we could be competitors, but we're also friends. It's okay. Um, um, Actually, shout out to Momentum because hi Nikki, I've seen your Momentum coffee cart at the Garfield Conservatory, and which I love that location so much. So there are competitors out there, but Chicago is a huge, bustling metropolis and you know, plenty of space out there, and the coffee community is so welcoming. So it's been a lot of fun to meet these businesses and owners, and sometimes we work together. Actually, Justin, if I'm remembering his name from VA Tour, had reached out and asked if I had an extra espresso machine he could borrow. I He actually got one from someone else, but we all work together, and so
I
it's a lot
love
of fun.
that. So you look at folks in the space as collaborators, and that helps you go to market faster. I think that's awesome.
Absolutely. I've definitely asked Dominique for help as well. So we all help each other out, and we all know that there's plenty that we're doing our own thing, and there's plenty of, you know,
Plenty of coffee
but
to go around.
yes, exactly. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Kat. Next up, we have Stuart from Queen's School of Jazz.
Hello, everybody. Um, I'm Stuart. This is the second time actually I'm here, so I'm really feeling super thankful today. Um, my school is a startup here in New York City, in College Point. The Queen School of Jazz and Contemporary Music is really sort of unique in that you'd think there'd be so many music schools in New York, especially here in Queens County. And there are, but they all focus on private lessons, charging people for that, and then maybe a performance. There's not much room for anything else but that. And what I noticed is all these businesses, some of them are actually friends of mine, they get locked in and they can't really grow. So ever since I was a little kid, I was always a big fan of Wynton Marsalis and jazz at Lincoln Center. And I saw it grow as a not-for-profit, building an income stream that is phenomenal today. So I really want to thank Honeycomb especially. The reason why I partner with them actually is also unique. As a not-for-profit, um, we really aim to serve the community, but where's the money going to be made? How am I going to pay you back? So the retail component of this not-for-profit is going to be like Jazz at Lincoln Center. I would not call them a competitor because between them and me, there's no one else. So that's what I'm saying in terms of, so my mission is going to be a little more specific. So when you're as giant as Jazz at Lincoln Center, you do many, many things well. Actually, you do a lot of things. You do a lot of things well, but you can't go deeper than that. And so for my school, the vision will be just to focus on mentoring these high school students and middle school students that come into our school. And since we last spoke, some of you are here, some of you have not. This was back in June. I was able to get the school out the gate, get some really amazing faculty, I'm super excited to share we have the best jazz musician faculty in Queens. These guys are working jazz musicians, and they all have a heart of mentoring others so that they get paid a little less for this next event. So they're all willing to sacrifice for this. So in really executing this vision, we're able to get these two students from Forest Hills High School, give them full tuition scholarships. They're $2,500 each. So that's $5,000 I was able to raise individually. You guys were a huge, huge inspiration for that, really spurring me on so that in just 12 days, we're going to have a concert at Flushing Town Hall. It's our local venue with 300 seats. Um, and we're going to present these two scholarship winners. So my ask today really is for funding for two more, actually three more. Our minimum goal is 10,000. We thankfully we're at 86% now. So if I get this 10,000, this will fund specifically four scholarships, two students from Frank Sinatra School for the Performing Arts and two students from Townsend Harris High School. They are waiting, I can assure you, for the next event, which should be happening in April of 2026. So with this funding I receive, that 10 grand goes straight to supporting these four students. The faculty, of course, needs to be paid. I'm doing multiple fundraisers, but the reason why Honeycomb fits so well is because your investment can be used for what's called hidden costs. That grant makers and foundations severely limit to like 15% of their funding. So if I get like 10,000 from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, they're going to tell me that only could use like 2,000 of that for overhead, which means rent and stuff like that. So again, as a startup in New York City, I think it's kind of ridiculous that a lot of these foundations and grants are not willing. And I understand their point of view's credibility. So that's why a huge kudos to Honeycomb for partnering with me to do this. And we're almost at our goal. What if I reach more than 10,000? Well, 60,000 is our max. That's still not enough for a full operating budget. My end goal is to have an operating budget of 175,000 per year with that can be replenished based on various funding cycles. You guys play a huge role in that because if I can maybe come back for round three, my ask will even be more focused, but the same vision, which is for facility space. I have space waiting for me. Some of the pictures you've seen in the on my page, the background is from a very big, spacious 2,000 seat auditorium that was promised to me if I come up with 75 grand a year. So it will be waiting for me. Um, so I'm super excited. And what else do I have to say here? Um, yes, and the other exciting, the last thing I want to mention is this is hot off the press. I had to look at my notes. The New York Public Library approached me for collaboration. So this is the very, very beginning stages. You can see where this is going because we're going to have a campaign for people to listen to music, read your books, and stay away from the screen. So this is going to be really, it's really going to help the school's vision, and it's helping the community in ways that even I never imagined. So please consider topping me off. Extra 1,400 and more would definitely go straight to helping us becoming fully operational. If you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I did also want to play maybe 30 seconds of music. Do I have 30 seconds of music
You
time? So I
absolutely
wanted to
do.
really, really thank all of you. I'm just gonna move this over here quickly and play like just 30 seconds of Stardust. It's one of the tunes from the concert. I'm gonna go into rehearsal in about an hour anyway, so I figure I might as well play for you since I'm doing this. But as a thank you to you all, play this, and then you could think of questions while I play this for the next 30 seconds here. All right, here we go.
Stuart, I think the music is a little bit hard to hear.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I'm sorry. Yeah,
No,
the
don't be
speaker was.
sorry. But if you want to send out a link to any of your, yeah, it was hard to hear. It's probably something with Zoom, but I heard the first little bit of it, and I think everybody else did, and it was
Yeah, I figured the sound
beautiful.
might be a little bad. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. At least we tried. But anyway, just wanted you to know that I'm super thankful for you guys and that music is always the first place I go to find, to find restoration and hope. And so I'm just eager to share it with everyone. Thank you. If you have questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Stuart. Really appreciate that. And always like to hear a little bit of original music. We have a question in the chat that says, what a refreshing concept are the students exploring professional careers?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I just interviewed um, two of the students from Forest Hills High School. One of them wants to be a professional musician. He's a drummer, and the other one wants to be an engineer. So my message to the community is when you send your kids, especially in the wake of after school programs being cut in New York City, when you send your kids here. We are basically mentoring them to help build their character to face life's challenges. So it doesn't matter. So really, music is secondary to everything. It's more like, what are you going to experience in life? New York City has the highest rate of brokenness among families, but quite obviously because it's a huge city. We have a huge population. So all the issues you hear about, social issues on the news, probably times five, times 10 in New York City. So I really want to be able to get in at an angle to be able to develop the characters of these kids. They don't get it. I ask them, do you have any private instruction? No, it's just my high school. And yet they went on to win first place for a
Mm,
jazz competition this high school. So I'm like trembling with excitement for these kids. So I believe that, yeah, no matter what they choose in life, this kind of training, playing the music in a collaborative setting, and also soloing really builds their character. I've seen it, and it's happened to me actually. So I just can't keep it a secret, you know.
awesome. We have another question. We have another question in the chat here that says, "What's the typical age range for of the people you are teaching?"
Great, great. Yes. So I'm first starting with the kids. So middle school, some middle school students are in jazz programs, like at the Louis Armstrong Middle School. So it'll probably be from ages really from 12 to 18. And then post high school adults will be able to join in an adult mentorship program, which are evening classes. So we'll have like band camp that runs all year round on Saturday. And then on weekday nights, we'll have adult band camps because they got to work. And so you can see how these programs are going to be developed, as well as early childhood learning. We have a prenatal to age 8 class that has not rolled out yet. So maybe I'll come back for another round with Honeycomb for that one because that is also proven to be very effective with early childhood learning. So yeah.
Excellent. And then, Stuart, if you want to figure this out while we're doing the next pitch, you can. If you go over to the audio in Zoom and you click the little down arrow, there should
Mhm.
be a microphone mode for original sound for musicians. So while Nikki is presenting, which is
Oh,
our next business owner, if you want to see if you can get access to that, and then after her presentation, we can do a little brief intermission for
sure,
music.
sure, sure. Of course, I'd love to do that. Thank you for letting me know.
Awesome. Well, the next person we have here is Nikki Bravo from Momentum Coffee.
Hello, hello. Good morning in some places, good afternoon. My name is Nikki Bravo. I am the proud co-owner and co-founder of Momentum Coffee. So, too often, businesses like Momentum Coffee move into neighborhoods. We create jobs, we create community, we spur economic development, and then we quietly close. Why? Because we get priced out of the areas that we were there to build. You ever find yourself saying, hey, what happened to that shop? I love them. So I want to say that Momentum Coffee, we are rooted in community and powered by coffee, and we are not here to disappear. When my husband, Tracy, and I, along with our daughter, the mini manager, opened up Momentum Coffee in May of 2020, we believed that a neighborhood cafe could bring quality coffee, tea, pastries, and sandwiches while having a mission to hire local, train local, and keep the dollars in the communities where they're needed the most. And guess what? We've done that for over 5 years. And we've done it while maintaining about a 10% year-over-year growth across our business. We were able to expand to multiple locations, including becoming the first Black-owned cafe in Millennium Park. We've been featured in news outlets and media outlets locally and internationally. We've welcomed public figures, sports legends, actors in our space, but our MVPs are our regular customers that come and show up every day and help make Momentum what it is. We've been able to hire over 75 local residents, and those consist of retirees that are looking to supplement their income to high school students who are getting their first jobs and learning new skills. We've helped entrepreneurs get their first yes by allowing them to showcase their products in our shops. We've provided space for neighbors to meet over a great cup of coffee and get one of our delicious chicken sausage, egg, and cheese croissants. So Momentum has always been more than a coffee shop. We serve as a community anchor. And so with so many good things going on, we have to look at the reality, which is that costs are rising. Labor costs are up 15%, our rent is going up 37%, and tariffs, they're pushing those costs even higher. So small businesses like ours don't have the same access to capital as our corporate counterparts to weather these storms in the same way. But the good thing is, we at Momentum, we're true to this, and we are true to our mission. We're Chicago strong, and we're taking our lessons learned, so we're acting fast to meet these new challenges. So what we're doing with the funds that we're raising is we have a clear, practical, sustainable plan to focus on our high demand areas of scaling our wholesale and expanding our retail products and catering. These revenue lines allow us to sustain our growth, but also really do it in a way that doesn't require us to increase the cup of coffee for our community. It will allow us to have a big impact on our bottom line. So we're seeking an investment of $124,000. What this raise will allow us to do, first and foremost, is to stay in our flagship location. We need to address the rising rent costs. So that is the first thing we want to do. Second, we want to build our wholesale program. We want to use our roaster that we bought and build out the program so we can sell beans to a wholesale and retail beans using that in-house roaster. We want to complete some necessary repairs to our small event space so that we can maximize that avenue of revenue as well. And finally, we will need to hire folks, additional jobs in sales and business development that address those development areas. So when you invest in Momentum Coffee, you are going to get a return, but you are investing in a mission-driven business that invests in the community. Momentum is here to do what we've done from day one. We want to hire, train, and serve, and now we want to stay and continue to build. So if you believe in local, if you believe in places that matter, if you believe in community wealth and opportunity, then you'll join Momentum Coffee. Help us stay, help us build, and help us keep the momentum. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nikki. Really appreciate it. Great work. I'm curious. I see here that you have roaster and wholesale build out. Maybe could you speak a little bit more to your wholesale expansion plans?
Absolutely. So in 2024, Momentum Coffee invested in an in-house roaster. So it's kind of cool. It's a bellwether roaster that we have in-house. And so we're addressing those costs, right? We decided that we wanted to roast our beans in-house. So what happens is we're able to reduce costs, right? Because you don't have to purchase as much, right? If you would, or meet minimums of an outside roaster, but we're also able to customize, right? We're able to look at different blends and be able to do that for other people. And that's where we talk about the wholesale, where we're able to do these smaller batches for smaller businesses at a wholesale, and they don't have to commit to those larger quantities. And it obviously for us, it maximizes our roaster that we purchase. And we have our own beans as well, right? So we already sell our Kinetic, which is our brewed coffee blend, and we have an espresso blend as well called Velocity.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Nikki. I really appreciate it. Looks like we have one more question in the chat that says, how much money do you make from these different revenue streams currently?
So currently, so let's look at wholesale. Wholesale is a very small part, which means that we have a big opportunity. Wholesale is about 5% in 2024. We had some larger things where we got to work with LinkedIn and some other folks who were doing some particular things for particular months and working with us. And then our retail beans, we do that currently in the store and we do it online. So I would say approximately 10%. And so there we know, again, with the investment of our packaging, investment of the storage of materials, being able to respond in a very proactive, respond and be proactive. What we know that we need to be successful when we put this online is why we want to have this investment as we push forward.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and thank you. I don't want to leave before I thank Honeycomb for this opportunity to really do this together. This has been a great experience, and it's really great to hear the experience of other people who've come back. So thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, Nikki, and great job. With that said, before we carry it over to our next person, Stuart, were you able to alter the audio so that you can perform your quick
Yeah.
song?
Yeah, I didn't realize there was a setting for
I didn't know
musicians.
either.
See, so we are important after all, right? All right, here we go. This will be the very the middle section, but I think you'll recognize Stardust. It's a very beautiful song, and here we go. So hope you like that.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Thank you so much. Folks, did you think that when you were attending this pitch event that you were also getting a mini concert? Thank you, Stuart. That was
My
amazing.
pleasure. My pleasure.
Excellent. So next up we have Sammy from Wanderlust Wine.
Good morning. That was such a beautiful song. I was like, man, it fits perfect with our foggy day that we have here in Austin, beautiful Austin, Texas. We actually are in our 40s, so this is harsh weather for a Texan. So if I keep shaking during the pitch, it's because it's very cold out here for us. But my name is Sammy. I'm the owner, founder of Wonderlust Wine Company, again, here in Austin, Texas. And in front of you and kind of positioned here is our upcoming CPG that is really looking to disrupt the way that, starting with Austin, of course, but that wine lovers will get to enjoy wine in large volume stadiums, arenas, and entertainment venues. So we've been in operation since beautiful 2020. Of course, a year we all needed some wine. And as a pandemic startup, we've really endured a very long list of challenges, but we've persevered. We are a small minority owned family operated business that, true to the Mexican mentality of si se puede, we keep fighting for a bigger and better tomorrow. I just want to do a quick call before we dive into the business a little bit to Alex for the recent social media push on the climate change or climate startup businesses and campaigns that are currently on Honeycomb. We actually really resonate a lot with that type of current initiative. We actually are here sitting in conversations to continue to make things that are climate positive. And so with that said, we'll segue into this packaging. So Wanderlust, our primary intention has been to tap into, no pun intended, into the world of alternative and innovative packaging for wine, starting with stainless steel kegs and now into stainless steel packaging to really further our impact outside of just, keg opportunities. So much that we've gotten recognition and interest by some large sports teams, including the San Antonio Spurs and Austin FC here, central well, local and here regional to Central Texas, which is very exciting. So we're looking to really make bigger and better pushes in terms of our waste diversion and sustainability efforts and initiatives. So we're really excited. We're here on this campaign to be able to first and foremost get right now access to capital to begin fulfilling some of these orders, just to like our local bars, restaurants, and current stadiums that we fulfill and service. But with these contracts that are going to be fully announced this coming week, that start in 2026, we are also in opportunity to increase our ask to up to 124 to be able to start tapping into these contracts with full force. So we're super excited. I mean, right now our stat, and you can read a little bit about some of our highlights, is our most exciting stat is that we've been able to divert over 500,000 single-use glass bottles from landfills, primarily through the use of our keg program. That is through our retail spaces. We have 3 local tasting rooms here in Austin, but also through our wholesale and distribution channels as well. That continues to grow. So yeah, we're very excited to be here on Honeycomb. This is our second raise through the platform that is looking to really, really make a change in the world of wine, but through live entertainment. And even with all these things happening in the economy, one thing that we're right now doing is being glued to our TVs for college football, for sports. And so sports and live entertainment continue to be one of, and even to Stuart's point, like we love music, we love entertainment. We're going to continue to go out there and even with people's current financial situations, when you go out for an opportunity and experience, you're wanting to make the most out of it. And so we want to be in those scenarios, creating memories and experiences with our customers, but also making a positive change through our efforts. So as you see here, our breakdown is quite simple. We need more packaging now that these contracts are on the horizon. We need more inventory. We need working capital to, of course, fulfill all the production and fulfillment of these orders. But ultimately, if we get additional capital raised in this round or further rounds, it is to help facilitate the acquisition of further contracts. Now that we have these 2 primary ones, Spurs and Austin FC, as you can see there on the bottom of the slide, we do have an increase of interest from other venues and stadiums and arenas that want to work with us because of our sustainability efforts, because of our local recognition, currently locally recognized as a platinum awarded local business in Austin that is second to one of these stadiums that are really helping to reduce the waste and hopefully become carbon neutral within the next year as we continue to make waves and efforts and impact through a beverage we all like to enjoy. And again, to just highlight and spotlight some other campaigns on Honeycomb, which again, just thank you all so much for everything you do for local and small businesses. Western Reserve, shout out to them. In their campaign, they're talking about how agave spirits are one of the leading beverages right now in the alcohol scene. And so while we are focused on wine, we are here in Austin, Texas, a very growing city of interest for CPG, primarily that of alcohol. If y'all have been keeping up with certain alcohol news as of late, Beatbox has recently been in conversations with Anheuser-Busch for an acquisition of upwards of $700 million, which is incredible. Speaking to other brands like Buzzballs, both in the wine-based cocktail category, which is also where we fit. So not only are we doing wine, but we're also doing sangrias and wine-based cocktails. And wine-based cocktails are actually our fastest growing category of our lineup. So as Western Reserve mentioned, with agave spirits being a big contender in the market right now, we get to tap into really our a field where even Beatbox has not tapped into, which is live entertainment and large venue sports teams and arenas. Could they get into? Sure. But even from a competitor standpoint, which, as Kat had mentioned earlier, we see competitors as collaborators, literally as they live a block or two from us. We see it as an opportunity for later down the road of either partnership, joint venture, or even acquisition for us because of the fact that we're approaching a separate category or separate strategy path that complements some of these bigger brands in the market that may be starting to look into brands such as our own here. So, in short, we're looking to become the next Austin CPG in the alcohol sector success story, and also making it successfully, but with a sustainable path and trajectory forward to make a change through our passion, which is wine. So, thank you all so much. We just hit our minimum, so anything that really helps us get closer to our max is going to continue to just foster the opportunities to tap into even more stadiums while as they say, while the skillet is hot and the hype is there. So thank you all so much.
Thank you, Sammy. Great job. I'm curious to hear a little bit more for the folks that may not know about like partnership, acquisition, and contracts. What will that $100,000 go towards? Is it for, inventory for the contracts, or is it hiring someone to go out and try to execute on these contracts? Could you speak a little bit more to that?
Sure. Everything's going to depend on the ultimate client. A lot of these partnerships begin through a marketing relationship, a marketing contract, which, as we talk about the cost of acquisition, here it's a little bit different because you're talking about some regional, but some national level partnerships that are going to be marketing that brand on a very large scale. So contracts are mainly based on marketing, and then with that come a lot of residual benefits and opportunities. First and foremost, of course, if our main job has been since the beginning of wholesale to sell kegs to local bars, restaurants, and stadiums, now with the power to use their IPs, their marketing power and resources, stating that we are the official wine of the San Antonio Spurs or Austin FC will only further our wholesale and acquisition opportunities within our local and expanding markets. So there's a lot of, I can already think like a lot of dive bars, restaurants, just bars in general that are watching these sports, that are portraying these sports, conveying these sports in their bars. And so they're going to naturally want something that's affiliated to the team that they're supporting or their customers are supporting. So there's a lot of organic and residual benefits from these marketing contracts. And so these contracts, of course, cost money to be in. And so there's as we fulfill these contracts, which we already have the intentions of releasing this information to the public, that we are in fact committing to them, securing the funding instead of going to a bank and asking for it. We rather give this opportunity to our community to help us secure these contracts and use community dollars to get there, to really say that this was a grassroots effort and initiative that came from our community to support community and to support local businesses such as our own. I hope that makes sense. And yeah, open to any other questions.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Sammy. Really appreciate it. The next person we have up is Dominique from the Zami Coffee Cart.
Hello, hello. I assume you can hear me. So my name is Dominique Betancourt. I am the founder the owner, and the operator of the Zemi Coffee Cart. I am here today because today is my final day of fundraising, and I'm about $5,000 short of my goal. So I'm hoping today I can inspire you a bit around our local community here, just outside of Chicago, where we are bringing Puerto Rican coffee, drinks, and hopefully one day food to our local community. And this all got started on a quest where am set to acquire the farm my father grew up on in Puerto Rico, from my family. And in that quest, I discovered that my abuela, my grandmother, had grown coffee on that farm. As a coffee lover, I don't know if I call myself an aficionado, but I had worked in coffee shops and was just kind of intrigued by Puerto Rican coffee. I'd never heard of it, wasn't really something that I had ever heard about. And of course, what happens is I fell in love with it. And this also sparked an idea I had previously around a mobile coffee business, which is very common in other parts of the world. And in that moment, I found a cart, and the coffee cart was born in September 2023. And this was after this birth was really all about what's the plan to build a truly sustainable long-term business. And that was a 4-part plan. So the first part of that plan was proof of concept. Would the market actually accept this? Can you, legally cart around on a pedaled power coffee cart and sell to the local community? And in fact, not only was it a success, but just from 2024 to 2025, we had a 20% growth with one single cart and have not even been able to touch the demand that has come our way, not only here in our local and surrounding communities, but even further than that. The second stage of that plan, with the proof of concept, was to, of course, grow those carts. The only way to do that, though, has been to secure a space and be able to operate out of that space, similar to a commissary, because today I operate out of my garage. And so looking for a space for so long, we've been able to find, and we'll here in a week or two be able to sign that lease. And as you heard earlier, be able to share that space and the cost of that space with our friends at Back to the Grind and potentially other local entrepreneurs. So the third part of that plan was a brick and mortar. This allows you, of course, to have more consistent revenue year round. And we have executed on that, partnering with a cafe in the city of Chicago. So the final piece of that plan is to, of course, acquire the farm and revitalize that farm back into a working coffee farm, other fruits and vegetables, as well as to be able to have little casitas on the farm to allow friends and family to enjoy what will hopefully one be a legacy for our family, and in turn really build this true soil to cup company. So being able to grow that coffee, and of course that coffee being able to come back to our carts, our brick and mortar, and really have that final piece of that puzzle. So the reason for our partnership with Honeycomb is looking for a $25,000 investment to help us not only get into the space, but of course, secure a couple other things. So the first piece is rent for the first 4 months before we start our season in April. And the second piece is to build a second cart. We have had a true growth in demand on our first cart. Which here in Oak Park, what I have done is posted up at elementary schools and grown my, I should say my street cred with the elementary school families. That has led into events here in the local community, festivals, things of that nature. So having a secondary cart means that we can be able to operate to at the same time across our community. And that will give us time throughout the winter to build that. And then the final piece is to truly operate out of that location will mean that we have to build somewhat of a small kitchen to be able to meet local health codes and things of that nature. So hitting that 25,000 will get us right to that place where we can really start to put all these pieces in play, while also, of course, operating our cafe out of the city in Avondale, which is a neighborhood in the city of Chicago, and getting all of those pieces put into place. So appreciate you listening to our story. Again, thank you to the Honeycomb team for allowing me to be here and be part of this pitch session. And if you have any questions for me, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Dominique. I'm curious, how do you think about marketing your business in the next year and a half, and especially when you have these upcoming exciting changes coming up?
Well, marketing I've taken, well, there's kind of a threefold approach. So the first one is the cart itself. As you can see, there is quite literally its own marketing tool. We have a lot of branding on there as well, and it is on the street. So every car that drives by, it has an opportunity. We're like our own little billboard, right? We also have built over the last year or two quite an extensive list through our newsletter. So an email marketing list where we're able to push out both things that are happening with the cart and now, of course, with the cafe as well. And the final piece is I do use quite a bit of social media. So I've grown my social media presence on Instagram and Facebook to really give people that feel of what it's like to be part of the cart, and to give people a sense of sort of what I do personally and what I bring to the table when it comes to the Zemi Coffee Cart.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And with that said, great job, Dominique. We are taking it to our last, but certainly not least, presenter here today, Patricia of G Girls Closet.
Hello, guys, and thank you, Honeycomb, for this opportunity. This has actually been truly a unique and amazing experience, something brand new and so just cool to be part of. So I do appreciate you guys for allowing us to have this opportunity today. And for everyone here, I am Patricia Gilmore. I am owner and founder of G Girls Closet. We are actually your non-traditional boutique. So we are the first hybrid, hybrid for-profit resale boutique that actually consigns only Title I schools, nonprofits, and businesses, which means that we actually are able to create consignment accounts strictly for these businesses, Title I schools, and nonprofits. They do clothing drives with us, so we service about 10 plus nonprofit partners. We do massive clothing drives, one, to help not only reduce the overconsumption, but also at the same time to enhance the resale process of clothing, so that way we can eliminate a little bit more sustainability and be a little bit more eco-friendly with shopping. But it allows our partners to have clothing nuggets. And the cool thing about the clothing nuggets is they get 40% of every item that sells through their account. So we are cutting checks monthly back to student councils, back to nonprofits, back to whether or not they want to use it for scholarships. Sometimes we do businesses who will open up a sip and shop with us, where they can get a crowd of young ladies and they can come through and they can do a sip and shop, and 20% of those proceeds from that sip and shop goes back to that mission that they're supporting. So whether it's a Bible study mission, whether it's just a ladies' night, they're able to come in and tangibly shop resellable goods and be able to not only create an impactful mission there, but at the same time, it's generating profit through used goods. So I have been in operation for over 4 years at this location here. We actually have 5 ways of how we funnel. We have 3 e-com stores as well as the 2 operating suites. The main operating suite is our store, which allows the community to come in and shop. And then the cool thing about it is the community is able to actually pick who they want to donate to too. So we are the third pillar between ARC and Goodwill here in Colorado. And they're able to pick whatever partner they want to support, get the tax receipt, drop it there. The clothing nugget goes to their account. What's also really cool is that I have obtained contracts through APS schools. In 2020, I sat down with administrators and was able to gain contracts for super seniors. Why super seniors? Because honestly, sometimes we just go through life and they get, a life, what can I say? Flip side, where we come in then and we get to teach them real life training. So they get to come to our back suite. They're able to learn about overconsumption, recycling, sustainability. They learn about fast fashion. They learn about how to open up their own little e-com stores on the side, one to help generate revenue for them, but also to help them understand entrepreneurship if they want to go into business. The one thing about it too is they get a real life learning credit from us, and then we're able to send the evaluations back to the schools and they're able to graduate. What I really, really love though about what we're doing with Honeycomb here is that we are looking to obtain the $25,000 goal. We would love to surpass that goal only because we were not able to get our stipend program this year due to budget cuts, which we understand, we are a for-profit, not a nonprofit. So with our stipend program, the reason why we want to surpass our goal is because the stipend programs allows a couple of super seniors to be able to stay on board and be able to work in the be able to work in our store. So running the POS system, learning to resize racks, learning customer service, which is a huge skill set that sometimes we just need that tangible conversation. And so they're able to obtain, stay on with us for 3 months. And then we also work with multiple partners throughout the Aurora community to help with job placement, which helps that economic gap there between a youth who needs to graduate and a youth who needs to go into work employment. What I also love is that the extra space that we need, which is the third additional storage space, will allow us to barn cut that extra door back there of the other unit that we have, and not only bring on more partners, but then we'll be able to have more space and as well as more seniors. So right now, between me and my assistant, we're only able to operate about 3 seniors per quarter. And if we get this additional suite, we can actually go 8 to 10 heads per student per quarter, which then helps us reach to about 32, 35 students per year. And then we'll be able to operate our contract between two other non-traditional schools. So that will allow us to reach even more super seniors, allow us to help also reshape the shopping habits of the next gen. But at the same time, we are the first hybrid to also get this first for-profit hybrid boutique to only service literally those community contracts. And we just hit third place. We got third place in Mile High Best last year as a testimony, impact, and community store. The reason why we're doing it this way is because we are a community store. I kind of want to be like the Green Bay Packers. I want to be owned by the fans. I want to be owned by the community because we are here literally shaping the community. So like example today, if you go to our website, you'll see that we have a massive clothing drive with CPHA, which is the Nurses Union of Colorado, and Jesus on the Facts today at 4 because we woke up at 16-degree weather today in Colorado and we're actually collecting winter coats and all of that stuff today and books and everything. And then the stuff that Jesus on the Facts won't take, that is too good to that is like, non-resellable, we'll take for their community clothing. And then the resellable goods will go to their accounts for their clothing nuggets so they can use that contract and use that cash to be able to keep doing their hot meals. But what I love is that I was raised by a single mom. Thrifting was kind of our thing. So I was also internationally adopted and brought here back in 1990. And the reason why we opened G Girls was because it is so much consumption going on with clothing and everything, and that's not going anywhere. Trust me, e-com and clothing are going to always be produced and always here. So we decided to do something that was so of a unique pillar and created that between Goodwill and ARC to where our community can literally pick who they support and they can tangibly see the goods being sold and resold. And what I love is that we are just going to continue to build our e-com presence. Like I said, we have 5 ways of flushing right now. The third suite that we do open for the students will also allow us to also open up more floor space, which will allow more goods to be resold there directly to the community here of Colorado. My ultimate vision with G Girls would be to actually take this concept and franchise it out, as well as have multiple little pockets of Colorado all covered, north, south, east, and west. It would be really great because there's so many nonprofits and businesses that really can use funding in a different kind of way. So we've created that pillar and those funnels to create funding all through just the profit of resale for the local community. So yeah, and I just take pride in being women owned, women operated. And I just thank you guys for listening to us today. And if you visit our e-com stores, you can see that we hold 5 stars on all of our stores. You can see our growth and you can see all of our partners that we can truly partner with. We also love being able to have the storefront there as a safe space for other community partners to come in who are either brand new at business or just are starting, and they're able to do workshops and be able to sit down and be able to try to reach a little community through their own, business adventures. So we just also love being that beautiful shell for them too.
Thank you so much, Patricia. Really appreciate this, the background. I see that you have listed that your part of the use of funds will go towards a company vehicle. Could you speak a little bit more to that?
No, thank you for bringing that up. Yes, so commercial vehicles are very vital, not just for the wrapping or the advertising of a business, but
Mhm.
especially when you're working with very low income and also like second, like what can I say, just low income like communities, you sometimes have to be to able to get to them. It's not that the services aren't there. There are plenty of services. Sometimes though it's lack of transportation for youth. And so it's for us to be able to get to the youth and bring them to the recycling courses as well as the commercial vehicle will be used for our rural pickup. We have a lot of people in Colorado who love to support our mission. We have grown such a massive impact with our online social medias. I'm also going to be starting a YouTube next year talking about this recycling, how to teach people how to be entrepreneurs and how to do this on the side as far as resale. So we will be doing that channel as well. But it's also for us to be able to go to our rural people to pick up if they can't get to our store to donate during business hours. It also helps with the load of big old community drives because sometimes we have truckloads and we're talking U-Haul loads of stuff that we have to transport. And we've been doing it all through our own vehicles. And so be able to get that commercial vehicle will relieve a little weight for the staff. Like I said, there's literally just a little tiki tribe of us ladies. And so it just helped a little bit with the logistics background there.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Well, great work. And with that said, thank you everyone for attending the Cyber Monday Small Business Pitch event. You all chose today to support small business amidst probably a flood of Cyber Monday discounts and deals. I know I woke up and my email was flooded with them, and everyone on this call took the initiative and the time to say, I'm going to show support for a small business today. So I think that with that said, would love to say goodbye to you all now. Today's the last day to invest with no fees on the Honeycomb platform. So you're able to scan this QR code and you're able to check out all of the businesses that presented today, along with many others as well. So thank you so much for being part of the Invest Local movement. And I hope everybody has a great rest of their day. Thank you.
Thank you.